me make this clear. I went to the U.S. House of Representatives as a former law enforcement officer. At the Orlando Police Department, I could not tell you the political party of the overwhelming majority of the men and women representative that I served with. We had a mission, and that was to keep our nation, our community safe, and we were laser focused on that mission. I took that same spirit and attitude to the U.S. House of Representatives when I stood on the House floor and took my oath, just as I did as a law enforcement officer. I took those words to heart, that I will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And she's voted in over 65 elections. She is now 90 years old, and she still works for the Lawton County Board of Education, where she lives. 90, and she goes to every day.
And birthday ruler, you'll remember our lessons. Hello, Democrats! Let's get fired up out there! You know what to do, fire up! Ready to go! Fire up! Ready to go! Fire up! Ready to go! I hope you are. We need a return on the yes, we can. I am your voice in Tallahassee. I represent parts of Alachua and Marion County, and I am the only Democratic voice in Alachua and Marion County. Our replacement for Charlie Chris. Charlie is the U.S. representative from Florida's 17th district. He was the first Democrat elected in this district since 1955. Chris's ability to flip this district is the type of electoral success we desperately need. Charlie might be Tallahassee's biggest thing. This is, of course, not his first time running for governor. After serving as governor from 2007 to 2011, 5 years doing people's work in D.C., he is trying to move back to Tallahassee. And as governor, he gave second chances without a ballot initiative. I know I should give a hand for that. Here in Tallahassee, Charlie either loves serving people of Florida or loves Tallahassee nightlife. I ain't quite sure. Maybe a little bit of both. that when he was first elected to the Florida Senate, the great Lawton Chiles served as governor. Today, Representative Charlie Chris is newly elected Commissioner Cynthia Judgment.
Thank you, Representative Henson. She's given a great introduction already. For Congressman Chris. I had the pleasure of working with Senator Chris when he was in the Florida legislature and I was in the House. I sponsored seatbelts on school buses and he was my Senate sponsor. So we go back a very long way. And it's an honor to be here tonight to represent him. He sends his regrets. In a state as diverse as ours, we need leaders who can bring people together and appeal to the best of us, not divide us. Governor DeSantis is leading our state in the wrong direction. He doesn't care about the least among us and continues to take pages right out of the Republican playbook to suppress our vote, our right to vote, and our right to protest in order to stifle the voices of everyday Floridians. Charlie Chris is who we need to lead Florida forward and restore stability and decency back in the governor's mansion. Charlie is a proven and experienced public servant. He's led our state through an economic recession and environmental crisis with the BP oil spill, and he's fought from the very beginning for teachers, seniors, veterans, and Floridians of color. Charlie is who we need back in Tallahassee. And if Democrats want to get serious about flipping the state blue, they'll join me in supporting it. Only Charlie can bring together the large, diverse coalition across Florida to win this election. And this campaign has proven it's got what it takes to get it done. He's out fundraised his primary challengers at every step of the way, while continuing to lead in endorsements with the support of over 115 elected officials and community leaders. And the polls all agree. Charlie is who we need to flip Florida blue. From St. Pete to Tallahassee to Washington, he's always been fighting for us, and just one phone call away. Now we need him back in Tallahassee to make our state.
And now introducing the Ag Commissioner, Nikki Freed. The toughness, intelligence, and character to win, Commissioner Freed, welcome back to Alachua County.
It started right here, as a public defender. A job that I took after leaving a much more lucrative job in Jacksonville, but I wanted to make a difference. And so I want to tell you all a very quick story, the job that I took, and why I learned along the way what it means to fight. When I was a public defender here under Parker, now he's not, but back then in Frick, I had a case where my client came up to me and said, Ms. Freedy, I didn't do this. This wasn't me. This is not accurate information. But of course, we all know how long those stories go. Most of the time, no one believes them. No one believes that they possibly have been innocent. But we also knew that this one officer had a track record, though, and a bad reputation of being a dirty cop. And as we also all know, that the whole criminal justice system is basically set up not only to arrest the people who looked like my clients, but lock them up for a very long time. But as a young public defender, I had a choice to believe in my clients and to fight. And so we walked into the courtroom together. We demanded the police reports. We demanded a jury trial. We demanded accountability. And you know what? We got it. We put that officer on the stand, and the discrepancies that we both knew came out. And so not only did the jury trial find my client innocent, but now every public defender is allowed to use that transcript to impeach the officer going forward, to the point that he no longer part of an elected county police department. onion gets peeled back and exposed. And that's exactly what I have done my entire career. As a public defender fighting for justice, as a foreclosure attorney taking on the big banks to keep people in their homes, and as your agriculture commissioner, taking the NRA out of gun licensing to make sure that everybody is more safe. Those are real victories. And that's why we are here today. And that is why we are here today coming together. For the last 3 years, I have clearly been the only elected official standing between Ron DeSantis and complete control of our government. And you've been with me every step along the way. Now when I say complete, I mean complete control of our government. DeSantis wants to control our freedom of speech, control over our bodies, our health and our well-being, over our most precious cost of living, and over our environment. He talks a lot about freedom, but it's the freedom to do what he says. That's not freedom, that's tyranny. And we cannot let that stand. I know that I've only got a minute or two to speak. So I don't want to go through what is at stake beyond what we just mentioned, because I know that you know what is at stake. But we need to figure out how to win. None of this matters if we can't win. And that is why I am running. In 2018, on election night, we were watching TV, everybody lost. I literally saw my name and my pictures on every TV screen across the entire state of Florida, declaring me a loser. When we looked at the numbers, we knew we had a fighting chance. Kind of like looking at the numbers for 2022. I got into a room and said to my team, nobody is leaving. Nobody is conceding. Nobody is giving up until every single vote is counted. And that's exactly what we did. And some people that were in this room helped us get there. And you know what? We turned it around. We were the only Democrat to have won, to your point, since 2012. But I tell you that story because that's how I approach my job. That's how I approach this campaign. And that's how I will approach governing the state of Florida with you. It is going to take all hands on deck to find a way to win. Now, be lying if I didn't say I was a bit of an underdog in this race. I haven't won and lost a million races. I have no favors to cash in. We've got serious work to do, and we are going to do it. Because I'm a fighter. I'm going to fight for this nomination like our lives depend on it, because they do. I'm going to ask Democrats to nominate someone who's always had their backs, who has always supported the LGBTQ community, who has always supported criminal justice reform, who has always supported women's freedom to decide for herself, who has always supported fully funding affordable housing, who has always supported banning oil drilling here in the state of Florida, who has always supported leaders like Barack Obama. And nobody who gives us a chance, but we are going to do this. And somebody who does give us a chance knows that we are going to try something new in 2022. We're going to win. That is new. To beat Ron DeSantis and show this state, to show this country and the world that people can beat back the right-wing authoritarianism that is trying to destroy and take away our democracy. That is what this election is about. So I'm going to ask you to join this campaign, join our campaign. Get in this fight with us, try something new, because if we do, we will win. Thank you. God bless you all, and of course, most importantly, go Gators.
Yes. And now, introducing Senator Annette Laredo. of Charlie Chris in 2014. In the face of adversity, she has never faltered. In the face of contention, she has never backed down. And in the face of overwhelming prejudice, she has fought for equity. I remember your speech at the For the People rally in Washington, D.C. I remember, so flowery that I can still hear it beating in my heart. Senator Tadeo, thank you for coming to the gala tonight. Alachua County is happy to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Annette Tadeo.
Thank you, Representative. I'm so proud to serve with you, and what a wonderful introduction, and she wrote that. I am very impressed. You definitely did your research, and I am so proud to serve with you. And I mean it, she is an amazing voice for this community.
Alachua Democrats, Florida has a red tide problem. I want to tell you something. Republicans, they thrive when inciting fear. Fear of change, fear of what could happen, fear of someone that doesn't look or talk like them. I remember a day when a real leader said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Well, it's time that we campaign and we win in Florida, and we're not going to be afraid. Instead, we're going to lead. We are going to talk about the things that we can fix, including tough problems, like expanding pre-K to a full day, like investing in early childhood education, like expanding Medicaid, like creating an unemployment system that actually works. It's about action, expand Florida's economy. That's why this fight is so important. Because while Governor DeSantis is turning his time in the governor's mansion as a personal audition to run for president, the rest of us are paying a huge price. But let me close by telling you why I believe we can win no matter the odds. After we won that special election, one of my first phone calls was from my alma mater, the University of North Alabama. And they said, we want you to come and give the commencement speech at the graduating class of 2018. I said, yes, right away. But then I said, should I tell them? Should I tell them how my inspiration for public service came about? Remember, this is deep red Alabama, and it's 2018 when Trump was inciting the anti-immigrant fears. I decided I needed to tell the story because it's about something so much bigger than me or any one of us. So I gave my speech in my accented English with my big smile to a stadium full of graduates and their parents, pre-COVID. Well, I wasn't thrown out. I wasn't booed. Instead, I got a standing ovation. And that's what I believe. Because it's about what we want to stand for as a country. That what we have in common is more important than what divides us. And that's what we are doing in this campaign. We are bringing people together, a coalition of voters from all across the state, all 67 counties. Now let's buckle up, get in that motorhome, and get in there and fight for this just cause. Together, I believe we will win, because Florida, I believe in us.
Sit back, relax, there's nothing else going on in Gainesville tonight. And you haven't been out in a couple of years. And I don't want our speaker to feel like she's got to rush to get you out of here, because there's nothing else going on. Now, she has done a lot. And I want you to listen, because I'm going to share that with you, so have a about this dynamic woman that I have admired for years. Congresswoman Val Demings represents Florida's 10th congressional district in the U.S. House of Representatives. Representative Demings is a lifelong public servant who broke numerous glass ceilings in her rise to the Orlando Police Department and her election to Congress. Today, she works on the House Judiciary, Homeland Security, and Intelligence committees. In 2020, she broke another glass ceiling and continued her career as a guardian of the law, and she became one of the first women and one of the first Black Americans to prosecute a presidential impeachment. Representative Demings shared a two-room home in Jacksonville, Florida, with her 6 older siblings. Her parents, Eloise, a maid, and James, a janitor, instilled in their children a deep respect for hard work, decency, and responsibility. With her parents proudly at her side, she received a BS in criminology from Florida State University, then went on to receive a master's in public administration. Representative Demings began her career in Jacksonville as a social worker, working to protect foster children. Then in the early 1980s, Representative Demings was inspired to move to Orlando to join the police force. Despite institutional resistance to the idea of women in law enforcement, she determinedly pushed forward, graduating from the police academy as class president, receiving the Board of Trustees Award for overall excellence, and earning the reputation of a smart, tenacious, no-nonsense cop. During her distinguished 27-year career with the Orlando Police Department, she served in virtually every department, including serving as commander of special operations. In this role, she was responsible for some of Orlando's highest profile tasks, including special events and dignitary protection. In 2007, Val Demings made history when she was appointed to serve as Orlando's first female chief of police. When Chief Demings took office, she launched into a relentless campaign to reduce violent crime and build new connections with the community. Through the work of Chief Demings and her dedicated officers, the Orlando Police Department reduced violent crime by more than 40%. That says a lot. Representative Demings is married to Orange County Mayor Gary Demings. Yeah. She is the proud mother to 3 sons and proud grandmother to 5. Representative Demings holds an honorary doctorate of laws from the Cookman University. Yeah. As well as honorary doctorates from Florida Technical College and City College in Fort Lauderdale. Representative Demings is an active member of St. Mark AME Church, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Orlando chapter of the Links Incorporated, NAACP Silver Life member, Florida Bar Citizens Advisory Committee, Florida Police Chiefs, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, National Association of Women Law Enforcement Executives, National Congress of Black Women, and numerous other affiliations. Representative Demings enjoys spending her very limited free time riding her Harley-Davidson Road in classic motorcycle. Representative Demings sits on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, the House Judiciary Committee, and the House Committee on Homeland Security. She's chair of the House Homeland Security Subcommittee on Emergency Preparedness, Response, and Recovery. Demings is a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, the Women's Caucus, and New Democratic Caucus. She's a member of the Law Enforcement Congressional Badge, the Bravery Review Board, and the Elections Security Task Force. Besides serving as a subcommittee vice chair, Congresswoman Demings' leadership positions included serving as assistant and regional whip for the House Democratic Caucus, co-chair of candidate recruitment for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, and vice chair of the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. Ladies and gentlemen, rise to your feet to welcome the next United States Senator from Florida.
Demings. I'm running for the United States Senate, and I'm running to win. Good evening, Lawton Chiles Gala. We got to fight our hands. We're trying to take our country back. We're trying to take our state back. Good evening, Lawton Chiles Democrats. Are y'all having a good time? For telling them they don't have no place else to go. Let's just stay in here and strategize. You know, a smart person in D.C. said, we don't agonize, we organize. There's somebody behind that. I want to thank Commissioner Chestnut for that wonderful introduction. You know, when the person who knows you, when the person who knows you is introducing you, you get a little nervous, right? Because you're like, now don't go off script now, don't go over there and talk about what's not in the bio, but I tell you what, she is doing and has done and will continue to do an amazing job. Thank you, my friend, the amazing Commissioner Chestnut. What a privilege it is for me to be here with you tonight. I don't take it for granted. And when we think about all that is going on in the world today, it's a privilege to be anywhere. It's just good to be alive. Am I right about it? In Lawton County, I want to thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate our democracy. Despite of those who are trying everything in the book, everything. Matter of fact, they've written a new book. Despite those who are trying to destroy our democracy, thank you, Lawton County, for working hard to protect our democracy. For coming tonight, all of you in your respective places, for joining us tonight in celebrating democratic values and democratic principles, despite those who have tried to make us think that democracy is something else. Thank you for staying the course, remembering who we are and what we as a Democratic Party will always stand up for. Yes, I know we have had some disappointing moments. Yeah, I know. We've had some setbacks. Yes, I know. 2016, I'm like you. I cried 3 whole days. I know that I had won my race and I was still crying. I know we have had some setbacks and some disappointing moments, but let me, Democratic Party, remind you tonight of just who we are and just what we stand for. You see, we are the Democratic Party, and we believe in protecting the Constitution, upholding the rule of law, and standing up for our democracy. Am I right about it? Yeah.
know you are, if you're watching what's going on in our nation, and I know you are, Democratic Party, we are the only hope for Florida's families and American families. Am I right about that? We are the ones who seem to always remember just why we are here in the first place. You know, I love watching the elected officials walk across the stage, whether they're at the local, state, or the federal level. What we do know is leadership is not easy. You know, people can say, oh, I can do a better job than that person, oh, let me run. But leadership is not easy, especially when you want to do it right. I know you have recognized them already, but come on, y'all, let's give another round of applause to the elected officials. Yeah, things we never forget. We know that it's not our personal agenda that we serve, but we serve the people. And you know what? Democratic leaders serve all of the people, not just the privileged few. Now, please, y'all know who I am. I mean, allow me this moment. I do have the microphone right now, and I really don't mind using it. And yeah, I know I'm in Lawton County, but just allow me this moment of personal privilege. I think y'all have called his name 3 times tonight, but I'm going to call it again. See, I'm a former law enforcement officer. I've served as the chief of police, and you all know how we are. We really don't go anywhere without any backup, right? You know, you might not see them all the time, but we always have someone that's watching our backs, who are looking out for us, who stand with us and ready to fight for us. So please just humor me for just a moment, and please recognize again the former police chief of Orlando, the former sheriff of Orange County, and current mayor of Orange County, Florida, my husband, Terry. And because I just can't help myself and Jeff, I am a former law enforcement officer. Please join me in recognizing your sheriff once again, Sheriff Watson. Come on, guys. Retired law enforcement in the room. If there are, please stand at this moment. Any other law enforcement officers, well, y'all, let's thank the ones that's out there on patrol that are allowing her to be here. There you go. Thank you. And also, let me just get this straight here. Are there any, I know we have some veterans in the room, or veterans that are in the room tonight. Please stand and be recognized. In 1960, President John F. Kennedy said this: let every nation know that we will pay any price, that we will bear any burden, that we will meet any hardship, that we will support any friend and oppose any foe for the success and the survival of liberty. As the Democratic Party, we enjoy our freedoms. But you all know that we know that freedom is never free. There is always a price to be paid. A lot of Democrats, that's why, despite what's going on the other side of the aisle, we just cannot go back. We just cannot go back. We refuse to go back. We refuse to shut up. going back on the women. There are some women in the room. My friend and former colleague, John Lewis, he paid a price. Rosa Parks, when she refused to get up from her seat, she paid a price. And the Lawton County Democrats, we cannot let that price that they paid and so many others be in vain. We cannot sit back and allow this lying, cheating, stealing agenda that weak leadership has allowed to take over the Republican Party. See, we must stand up and fight to protect our democracy. Let me remind you, I was in the Capitol on January 6th. I was there to witness the peaceful. That's what they call it. I was there to witness the peaceful transfer of power. We all know that American tradition, despite one wins the election, we all know that American tradition, the peaceful transfer of power. But you all know the rest of the story. And while some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle said, well, if you didn't know better, it was just another tourist day. I came tonight to tell you it was not just another tourist day. We saw it with our eyes and we heard it with our ears, the angry mob that marched to the Capitol, chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." And they brought the gallows with them and rolled them onto the Capitol lawn. We saw them break windows into the Capitol and break down doors. We saw them push law enforcement officers between those doors. We saw them tase law enforcement officers repeatedly and beat the police officers down with baseball bats and pipes and flagpoles carrying the American flag. What we saw on January 6th was an America that sprayed police officers with bear spray for just doing their jobs. Lawton County Democrats tonight, let's be sure of this decision tonight. I think you all, every person in this room has a right, but tonight we have to decide just what kind of America we want and just what kind of America we're willing to tolerate. We're not tolerating that. That's not America. That's not the America that we have been promised. That's not the America that says every person, regardless of the color of their skin, where they live, how much money they have in the bank, their zip code, their today, if we're as big and bad as we say we are as a nation, then what I do know is that another group will just come in and certify those electoral ballots declaring Joe Biden as the President of the United States and Kamala Harris as the United States. Why? Because the people have spoken, and a logical counting of people's voice still matters. My friend and former colleague John Lewis said the right to vote is precious. He said the right to vote is almost sacred. And despite the shenanigans that are coming out of our state capital, we the people, must do everything within our power to protect the will of the people. Voter suppression laws have been introduced in states across our nation. And you all know Florida wasn't about to be left out of that. But if we believe in the greatness of America, and I stand here tonight telling you, yes, I do believe in the greatness of America, then we must protect that precious and almost sacred right to vote. Alachua County Democrats, I am running against Marco Rubio, and I'm running to win. You see what? I know this daughter of a maid and a janitor, what I know. This former social worker, what I know. This former police chief, what I know. This current member of the U.S. House of Representatives, I know Florida can do better, and we will do better. I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm afraid to say it, Marco Rubio is a weak, spineless leader. When it is politically convenient for him to do so, I'm not afraid to stand up and speak up, and I will continue to fight, and fight. The senior senator from Florida doesn't like to show up for work. I like showing up for work. Florida can do better, and we will do better. Tonight we are here in the name of our beloved Governor Lawton Chiles, a good man, an honest man, who wasn't afraid to run on his own merit. He didn't try to lie, steal, and cheat to win elections. A man who understood that he was here to represent the people. Governor Chiles said this, and I quote, "I did not come to stay. I came to make a difference." Democrats, let's continue to make a difference and make some dreams come true. Let's continue to hold America to its promise. God bless you, and may God continue to bless the state of Florida, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.